Hey all, good morning, afternoon, or evening, whatever it may be for wherever you are. I am Stephanie Joy with all things Social Security and the Joy Disability Law Office. Your video is about to start. I wanted to remind you of our live Q&A sessions here on YouTube as well. They start at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so it's a little earlier for you Western folks. And I look forward to seeing you there. It's a first come, first served basis in terms of the questions you might want to pose in the chat. And I will pick them up going from beginning to end for about a 2-hour period. So anyway, I hope to see you there. Have a great one, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye. Taylor, does your CRD, I think you mean CDR diary date, change after 55 years old to every 7 years? I keep reading different answers on it. It's confusing. If you linked any, I would take a look and see if I found that credible. I like to vet my sources and make sure they're authoritative or otherwise somewhat persuasive. But I would say no, that's not true. Again, I think I spoke about this before. You could have won at 54 because you had a particular kind of surgery that takes 2 years to heal from, and you had high-skilled work. You have no mental impairments that would prevent you from the high-skilled work, but you just couldn't do the light nature of that job. But in 2 years, you would be able to do the light nature of that job because the recovery from that surgery would have kicked in. They might put you on a 3-year diary. Makes sense, right? I mean, totally makes sense. It sounds appropriate. So I'm going to say I don't think that's true. It could be that there are many MDIs and disabling ones at that found you disabled that are not expected to improve. And that would mean probably that they were already at 5 to 7, potentially. With the age bracket change and the category change from 49 to 50 and then 54 to 55, that could affect things for some people, but I do not think it can be across the board because then that would be contrary to the rules. So I don't think it's across the board. I think it's probably, again, certain needle poking at certain impairments that would then be related to your age. To a certain age / impairments. So I don't think it would happen at all. Hey, so if the subject matter of the video you just listened to is of interest and you want more on it, stay tuned. Here's another one about the same topic, but a little bit different. Bye now. Hello. Okay. In response to a question about when you try to figure out your diary date. And this happened to be applying to someone who was in their 60s and wondering about a diary date for a CDR, continuing disability review. As you know, all cases get assigned a diary, I'm going to call it a diary date, for when they will be up for a CDR. This is to ensure that the person is still disabled under the law, therefore still eligible and entitled to continue collecting their benefits. So a lot of people dread these things, understandably, but there are, of course, ways to protect yourself should you remain disabled so that you don't have to fear a CDR. We do have a whole playlist. I'm not sure how thick it is yet, but a playlist on CDRs. This specific question was, if I'm in my, let's say you're 62, and the SSA tells you that you won't be getting a CDR review. What does that mean? Does that mean they don't do CDRs after 62? No, it does not. What I believe is probably the case, and it's the only one that makes sense to me, is that the individual's type of impairment gave it a diary date of probably 5 to 7 years. And what that means is, they give you the diary dates based on, has to do with your impairment, has to do with what your condition was when you were found disabled. And it is determined whether you are most, you're likely to improve. You are not expected to improve. Medical improvement, not expected. MINE, medical improvement expected. And that's based, of course, on what is apparently out there in terms of recovery. It has to do with medical know-how, what the treatments are, what's working, and how many people do get back on their feet, based on a certain condition. Some conditions are readily treatable and people are happily recovered enough to get back to work. And then, of course, many are not, and many get worse, particularly as we age, because there's always the aging going on as we head through life and head through our beneficiary, status collecting, and the years go on. So there is always the addition of the aging factor that sometimes makes us deteriorate or degenerate, as they say. Sometimes I think it's happening right in front of my face when I look in the mirror. But anyway, so what does it mean if the person, what could it mean? And what I think it likely means when the person was told, you're not going to be up for review, which seems to be contrary to everyone gets a CDR. Well, if his diary date was 5 to 7 years from the point he was 62, that puts him at full retirement age. At full retirement age, you flip over to retirement. You are not disabled anymore from a legal perspective. Your benefits come from a different fund. It comes from the retirement fund, like every other unimpaired person, because once you hit retirement, your disability is not relevant. So you will not be having a CDR if you're hitting, full retirement age, which for most people is 67. So I believe that's what was going on with this person's question and situation. So it's kind of a good thing. Having a further out diary is not a good sign for the improvement factor if you're hoping to improve, of course, particularly if it, diminishes your quality of life, not just your work life. But in terms of a CDR, if your diary date's going to mathematically equal out to, they can't CDR you because you're going to be in that, call it a protected age if you want, full retirement age, then that's what I think that would mean. So is that exactly what necessarily happened to him? I don't know. I wasn't there. I didn't speak to them and they didn't further explain, but that would be the explanation I would expect. Okay. Have a great one, guys.